Hi everyone. Okay, here we are still working in Adobe Illustrator, but this time we are working on the floor plan graphics. Okay, so what we are going to produce is going to be something similar to this floor plan. So what we need to produce and to start with is an AutoCAD file of this drawing that you already have. Okay, so what you need to do is, let me open the AutoCAD file first. What is important is that you have distinct layers in your AutoCAD file. Okay, so for example, here we should have at least 3 layers: one for dimensions, one for walls, and the other for furniture pieces, like doors, other furnitures, windows, things like that. Okay, so after you are done, I'm going to show you what happens. Okay, so I'm going to bring in, I'm going to open a new artboard, not in this one. It can be separate from this file completely. So I'm going to open my AutoCAD file. So when I open my AutoCAD file, this window pops up, okay? And it asks me about the scale and the layers, okay? So here you can kind of specify a specific kind of scale and give it to it, or you can just go to by this scale. In this case, I just like it to be fit to my artboard, and I'm gonna play with that, so the scale doesn't matter to me right now. And then I don't want to merge layers. I would like to have my layers separately. Okay, I mean, I would like the items to be in separate layers. So I'm gonna open the file, and now this is the new artboard that I have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just select everything, and I'm going to adjust the size. Just make sure you are holding the shift key. So now if I go to layers here, so you see I have these different layers: 0, furniture, closets, dimension. Okay, and by default closets is off. So let me see what I have here. Nothing is in this layer, so I can delete that. Okay, but in terms of the furniture, when I turn it when I hide the furniture layer, so you're seeing that only my windows, closets, closet lines, and doors are being on and off. Okay, the rest of the items seems not to be in the furniture layer, while in the AutoCAD file they are. So I'm going to go back to the AutoCAD file, and what I need you to do is I want you to edit all these blocks, okay? And then one by one. So when you double click on each block, this window pops up, click OK. Now you are in the block editor window, okay? So select everything and then go to Home tab and change the layer to furniture, okay? And then close block editor, and in this window between save and discard, save the changes. Okay, so if I click on this, you see that it's in the furniture layer, but you need to edit that, and then in the editor change the layer to furniture, close and save. Okay, I need you to do this for everything, even the doors. So it is already in the dimension, in the furniture layer. So all these pieces that you have, you need to do that. Okay, then save your file and open that here. Okay, you can either drag your file into the artboard, or you can go to file and open your DWG file. So it doesn't matter, all of them work. What I want to do is I want to work with my correct file with correct dimensions, so I'm gonna open that file this time. Okay, okay, now I have everything. Select everything, change the size to whatever that works for you. So if you draw a graphic graphic scale in your AutoCAD file, then when you bring it here, it's going to help you to keep the scale as well as a graphic scale. Okay, so you can do that and then adjust and then kind of play with the appearance of that graphic scale here and adjust it. So that's one option, or you can scale it to a specific one, as I said, when you are importing that. Um, okay, but then you need to make sure that you are not changing the scale if that is the case. But we don't need that right now. Adjust the kind of size, and then whenever you are happy with it, what I'm going to do is, okay, I want to first, okay, as you can see, we have imported a vector kind of file and drawing into this. And that is why I'm able to pick the lines and adjust them. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I want to make this portion a little bit bigger. So okay, now next thing I want to do, I want to change the layers colors. So I would like to have something similar to this. Okay, now so these are like dark grays, and okay, let's go back to the file. What I'm going to do is, these are dimensions. I'm going to start with the walls first. So I want to add pochette to my walls. Okay, in order to do that, you can either join these lines together and then kind of fill the object, or I'm going to show you another way because you may kind of face some problems, and I'm going to show you an alternative way. So select everything that you want separately. Okay, these kind of closed loops, we want to select them one by one. So for example, here I selected these, then I'm gonna just hold the control key with J, so that's join command, right? Control J is join command. Now this is joined. I'm gonna go to the properties and I'm gonna adjust the fill. Okay, like that. Okay, so as I said, this is one option. The other option, which is way kind of easier. Okay, let me show you why we want to use the other option first. So if I select everything here and then hit Control J, you see sometimes it adds some extra lines that we don't want. Okay, so I'm going to redo that, undo that, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the bucket, live bucket kind of tool to paint inside the walls. Okay, and to use the live bucket tool, then you just need to first, you need to use this option, this kind of direct selection. Okay, and then select the items that you want. I'm going to select everything here because I only have my wall layers visible, right? I'm going to select everything. Then, then in the fill section, I'm going to select the color that I want to use. I'm going to use black. You can use black or dark gray. I recommend black here. So, and then hit K on your keyboard and you're going to have access to, to this bucket tool. So now that I selected fill to the color that I want, I just need to go and select inside each area that I want it to be painted or filled. And I'm going to select them one by one and fill the area. And that is all. Now I'm going to go back to layers and I'm going to turn on the furniture. Okay, now the second layer that I want to work with is the furniture layer. So I'm going to hide the walls. I'm going to select all my furniture pieces. I'm going to go to properties and now I need to adjust as you can see, we don't have any fill for this furniture. It's just the stroke and I need to adjust the stroke color. Okay, so this might be dark. I mean, these are the colors that we use for layers in our AutoCAD file. That's why we see them here. But if you want to use other colors, we have that one and we have that option as well. So for example, I'm going to select them all. Let's see if they look fine right now. So they look okay to me, but let's see how we can change it to any other color. So I'm going to select them all, go to properties, stroke, and as you can see here, we don't have any other swatches. Okay, here, what I can do is actually, here I can go to swatch window. If you are not seeing this, then you can go to window and make sure swatch is visible like this. Okay, and then I'm going to click on these three lines and then go to open swatch library. I'm going to go to default swatches and then print, for example, and it opens this swatch window for you. Okay, so, and you can use any of these colors. Okay, what I'm going to do, as I said, okay, for example, I want to adjust something. This is very important because when you want to adjust the colors, sometimes you see that something that you may not want is happening, and that's probably because you haven't chosen the correct kind of item here. So this is the fill and this is the stroke, right? So whenever I want to adjust the stroke, I need to select this and it brings it to the top, right? Or if I want to adjust the fill, I'm going to select this one. Okay, so in the swatch tab, I'm going to select the stroke right now because these were kind of the stroke color, right? And I'm going to, for example, change it to this. And as you can see, it changed, right? So right now I'm going to select everything. This is the stroke is on the top. And I'm going to pick this kind of dark color, dark gray. Okay, I'm going to go back to properties. I'm going to go back to layers. And here are my walls and furniture. Okay, now I want to adjust the dimensions. Okay, this time Okay, for dimensions, let's see what happens. If I select everything and then go to properties, and then you see, I'm going to talk about this, okay? If I change the fill to black, it's going to change the color of the text, the numbers, and these arrowheads, but not the lines. Okay, so first we are going to change the fill, for example, in order to change everything except the lines. But if I go back, select everything, and then now if I go back and change the stroke color to black, for example, so what you are seeing is that it kind of creates a black stroke for everything. And we don't want that, right? We don't want the numbers, for example, to have a stroke or something like that. So that's not the thing that the kind of the way we want to work here. We are selecting everything and it's adding a stroke to every item that we have selected. So what I'm going to do here, and you can do this as well, is that I'm going to select, for example, this line. Okay, one of them, make sure this one is selected. I'm going to select this kind of line only. You need to make sure you are using this direct selection tool and not this one. Okay, so select one of the lines, go to select window, and then what we are going to do is we are going to select all the similar kind of items in this window. Okay, just by picking one of them. So we select one, we go to select window tab, and then same, we are going to select the same. What the same, you are going to decide here, do you want the same appearance, the same fill and a stroke? What I want here is I want them to have a similar stroke color, for example, or sometimes you may choose a stroke weight depending on your selection. Okay, here my kind of the strokes that I have, and I want to select these lines, they have red color, right? So I'm going to select them based on the stroke color. Now everything that have the same color is selected. Okay, the same stroke color. Now that I selected those, you see, and they are red here, I'm going to change the color to black. Okay, and now they are all black. Actually, I don't want them to be black. Um, I want them to be kind of gray. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and then change the stroke to this maybe. Or again, if I wanted to have, if I wanted to use these swatch colors, I'm going to go to swatch, make sure the stroke is at the top, for example, and then choose the color that you want. Okay, and now I'm going to go back, select everything, and I'm going to change the fill to the color that I want. This time I'm going to go to swatch, bring the fill to the top, and then I'm going to change the fill color. Okay, something like this, for example. Now I'm going to layers again, and I'm going to turn on the layers that I want. Okay, so as you can see, for example, the lines here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to name it, for example, the floor or yard or something like that. So I'm going to, from here at the bottom right corner, you can create a new layer. Okay, create a new layer. I'm going to change it to floor. So I'm going to start from outside and then I'm going to go in. So now I want to add this kind of hatch or pattern, and then, yeah, let's go back. So first I would like to adjust the line weight here. It's too thick. So I'm going to select these lines, and then I'm going to adjust the stroke weight. So I'm going to reduce that to something maybe like this. That looks good to me. That's okay. If you want to make it, for example, black, you can, but that looks okay. Then for the next phase, I would like to kind of add a box here and then add a pattern to it. So before doing that, I'm gonna take these and I would like to take them all to the floor kind of layer. Okay, I don't want them to be in the closet. So how I can change that is that after selecting the items that I want to be moved, I'm gonna just click here, for example, on this green, and then I'm gonna kind of hold my mouse key, my mouse left key, and I'm gonna drag that and I'm gonna just release it here. I'm gonna release that here. Then these are right now in this kind of layer. And if you wanna make sure that is the case, you can either check from here, or I'm gonna turn this off and you see nothing is in this layer anymore. So I'm going to go, and from here I'm going to delete this layer. At the bottom right corner, I deleted that layer. I don't need it anymore, and it's now in my floor layer. Okay, so we can use the pen tool to draw the boundary of this shape that we want, or you can use this rectangle tool. Okay, so I'm going to use the pen tool. But something which is important is that when I click, for example, here, and I want to start the drawing from here, you see that the floor kind of layer is selected, right? So that's okay. That looks okay to me because I want this kind of item that I'm creating, I want it to be in the floor layer. But sometimes, for example, if I click on this corner, for example, if I click on this corner, it's in the 0 layer right now, okay? And then later on, it's going to be difficult for me to select it and put it in the floor. So what I prefer actually is that I just want to make sure when I start drawing, I'm in the correct layer, okay? So to do that, I'm going to go to floor, and then I'm going to start from this corner, as I said, okay? And then I'm going to start drawing the boundary. That's okay. Okay, now what I can do is right now that they are selected, I can just quickly join them. So Control J. Okay, so it's showing an error. But they are actually joined. So if I go to stroke, yeah, that looks okay to me. So I'm going to select this path, and now I would like to add, as I said, a pattern to this. Okay, for that I'm going to go to my swatch section. Actually, I'm going to go to fill. Yeah, I'm going to go to the swatch section, and now we want to adjust the fill, right? Okay, but we are only seeing colors right now here. in the swatch section. But if you again click on these three kind of menu option, three lines, and go to Open Swatch Library. Then here we have different items, and one of them is patterns. Okay, then go to patterns. We have multiple options here, some decorative patterns that we don't kind of usually use, nature patterns, basic graphics. So in these basic graphics, we have some that are dots, some lines, and some textures. In this case, I'm going to use the lines, okay? But you can kind of try and see other options as well. But here, I'm going to use the lines. And then I'm going to just select one of these lines. So these kind of look too thick to me. What I'm going to go with is probably this first one. Okay, so you might be happy with the scale of kind of this pattern, or you may say that, no, this is too big for me. I mean, the distance between the lines, or for example, here in this case, you might say that the tiles are too big. Okay, so now what we can do is that we can adjust the scale of this pattern. Okay, and to do that, you're going to select the pattern. You're going to go to Object tab, okay, Object menu, and then go to Transform. We are going to transform, and we are going to scale that, right? Then when this window opens, you need to make sure that you are scaling uniformly. Okay, so select uniform, and then we are not kind of scaling down an object, we are scaling a pattern. So I'm going to I'm going to select this one, transform pattern, and I'm going to uncheck this one. And now I can adjust the scale. So I want it to be, for example, smaller. So I'm going to say 70%. So click on preview once, and then check and uncheck this, and you're going to see the difference, okay, before clicking OK. So I think I'm happy with this, for example, and I'm going to hit OK, and that's my pattern. Now what I want to do is, it looks kind of too dark to me, so I'm going to adjust the opacity a little bit. I'm going to reduce it, maybe even a little bit more. If you're okay and happy with it, that seems fine to me. Okay, now if for any reason, for some reason, I decided to change the color of my pattern, so what we can do is I'm gonna go to my swatches. I'm gonna select the pattern that I use, or let me see if this responds. No, okay, yeah, go to swatches, select the pattern that you have. Okay, and then double click, and it opens this pattern option for you. But what we need, actually, we want to change this. So you can select them all. I'm going to select everything. Okay, so what you need to do is select them. Okay, I'm going to select everything, and then from here, for example, double click, open the kind of the swatches, and change it to any color that you want. And then when you go back to your drawing, double click outside, and it's going to take you back to your drawing, and now it's red. But for this case, we don't want it to be red, so I'm going to go back, hit Ctrl Z and go back, and this is the original color that I want. Let's see what we want to add next. I'm going to add these trees. Okay, so no, before that, let's add the color to the floor so that we can kind of distinct inside from outside by this. Okay, right now everything looks white. I mean inside and outside, right? We want to kind of make a distinction between inside and out. So what I'm going to do is I can easily draw a box here. So I'm going to pick the corner, right? And it's okay that we have patterns right now. We're going to change it. And I'm going to pick this corner, and now I'm going to change the fill to, for example, this color for now. We don't want to have any stroke. So I'm going to change the fill color to something else. So either from here or there. I'm going to adjust the color a little bit. That looks okay to me. Now what I want to do is I want to send it back, right? So that I can see other things. So, okay, what I can do is I want to add it to, instead of sending it at the bottom, let me see. I'm going to go to arrange and send it to back. Okay, so it didn't go back, arrange, send to back. So what you need to do is actually you need to adjust the layer location, okay? Because right now the floor layer is at the top and we created this object on the floor, right? So what I need to do is I'm going to take this floor and I'm going to drag it down. Okay, so drag it and take it all the way down so that it's at the kind of it's under everything in your drawing. Okay, right now, if I bring it to the top of furniture, I don't see my furniture, right? I'm going to take it down and now I can see everything. So one more thing. Okay, so right now I want to adjust this so that it is outside my walls like this. So if you don't want your walls to look like this, you need to kind of go back and turn on the stroke, turn off the stroke. Okay, but that's okay if you keep them off as well. But this is, for example, how you have sharp edges and everything. Okay, just like that. But right now I think, let's see. I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna keep this stroke on for now, but that's an option for you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, next I would like my furniture pieces to have a white kind of fill instead of this. So this is one way of having this, which is completely fine. I mean, having everything gray on the floor, but if I make them white, to my opinion, it looks better. Okay, it looks like this floor plan is attached to my background. Okay, it's just it sticks to it, right? So what we can do for some items, like this one, for example, when I select it, I can easily go and add a fill to it and add a white fill to it from here, for example, which is easy, right? Or for example, this one. So I'm sorry. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to layers and make sure everything else is kind of locked so we cannot select them anymore. So layer 0, we don't want to change the walls, right? I'm going to change the name of this layer to walls instead. Okay, we don't want to adjust the walls, we don't want to play with the floor and dimensions, so I'm going to keep those locked. You're just editing the furniture pieces right now, right? So I'm going to, for example, select this, right? And I'm going to adjust the fill. Take it all the way to the corner for white, okay? But again, you can go to swatch and select the white fill. Is this white? It's not white. Okay. So for some reason it's not changing the, oh, okay, because these are not joined. So I'm going to join them first. Control. Okay, some other lines have been selected. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to use the live bucket tool. Okay, so again, select, pick this selection, direct selection, and then select whatever that you want, for example, here, and then hit K on the keyboard. And now I'm going to go in and make sure the fill kind of is white. I'm going to go in and I'm going to adjust the fill. So you can select any item that you have. And adjust those. So for example, for this piece, I'm going to select everything. I'm going to go to, okay, select this one. Then I'm going to hit K. I'm going to adjust the fill color and make everything white. The same applies to this and these, right? Everything. So here, for example, I can easily draw a rectangle, but I want to make sure that you need to make sure that the stroke is off. So off. And then as you can see, it's on top of my furniture. So I need to adjust that. And I'm going to send it to back. So right click, go to arrange and send to back. And that looks okay now. The same applies to here. I'm going to draw a rectangle. Adjust it. Fine. And I'm going to send it to back. Okay. So thing like this, right? So you need to kind of adjust everything. The shelves, right? Washer and dryer. Again, shelf, closet shelves, and everything. Okay. All your furniture pieces, make them white. Now I'm going to bring the trees. So for that, you can go and download the CAD blocks, free CAD blocks. So I already have some. I'm going to open the blocks. Then, so my recommendation is to do not use the ones that looks kind of so odd. So look for something very simple and that has kind of very few lines. Sometimes you may use other ones, but for example, in this case, I'm going to use this one, but you are free to choose any other. Okay, so this one, I just made a copy, Control C. Here in my artboard, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to adjust the size holding the Shift key. Make sure it's not too small and it's not too big. Okay, now you can kind of adjust the color. So right now it's kind of black. I'm gonna change it to a gray. And now I'm gonna, so because I'm seeing the lines underneath, I don't want to see those. Okay, so what I can do, I can create another circle, but I'm gonna make the fill white. I'm gonna make the fill white, and I'm gonna turn off the stroke. Before turning the stroke off, I'm going to be very thin so I can see the edges. I'm going to move it over this, and then I'm going to turn the stroke off now. And I'm going to send this to back, right click, arrange, send to back. And now this is going to be my tree with a white background. You can create, you can group them, and then you can create copies. You can adjust the size. And then in order for these two not to look exactly the same, I'm going to rotate this a little bit so that we have a variety, right? And it still looks kind of dark to me. I prefer something like this, for example. Okay, I added one over here as well. You can add more. And now I think we have everything. Okay, what we are going to do here, we're going to add tags, space tags right now, and adding text, right? So I created this north arrow easily here. So just using circles and lines, you can do the same. So, and you can use any type of north arrow that you want. So create one. Or bring one, so whatever, you can draw it, and you can draw lines, right, and adjust the line weights. Sorry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, for example, way thinner, or then add another line. Okay, something like this, and then you can group it and move it. Okay, and then add the text. So add these numbers that specify each kind of a space. So number 1, 2, 3, and then list the spaces under the key here. Okay, so you need to create the key as well, floor plan key. Make sure the text, for example, here goes with the one that you used before here. For example, I think I used, I'm not sure. For this one, I used Swiss again. So for this part, I used the light one. Okay, so you see, this is the light version. Because I don't want it to be too bold, for example. But this one is medium, for example. Okay, and if you see here, I have the same kind of text. So I'm not using a lot of kind of different types of fonts, right? So keep it kind of constant. And then, yeah, then whenever you are done with this board, okay, something which is important is I want all my drawings to have kind of similar colors and similar tones of color, okay, or hues actually. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that, for example, this gray exactly matches this gray. So what I'm going to do, for example, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it to my document. I'm going to paste it here. And then what I'm going to do, I need to unlock these in order to select them. So I'm going to select this one and I'm going to use the eyedropper to just pick this color. Okay, so something like that. Now I can delete this. And if I want this to be to be darker a little bit, then I can adjust the opacity a little bit. Right? Okay. So right now I'm sure that if I put this in my final document, it's gonna have the same color and it's not gonna be different. I'm gonna decrease the opacity of this. Oh, not the grouped one. I'm gonna ungroup this, right click, ungroup. Okay, so select the individual lines. So when you bring the tree in, like for example from here, okay, you need to make sure that right now, okay, I'm able to select it right now, but I'm not sure what happened to it. Maybe I did something to it, like something happened to this one and it kind of exploded. But this one, for example, let me ungroup. This one is correct. Yeah, so you can adjust the color or opacity. So whenever you are done, then you can export it like before. So add text, north arrow, and the key, and space numbers, and you're gonna be done. Thank you and have a good day.